So you went to church today. I have few verses for you. If you love me, keep my commandments, John 14:15. And I have another one, John 14:21. If he that had my commandments and keepeth them is the one that loved me. And the one that loved me shall have the love of my Father. And I will love him, and he'll manifest himself on me. Then I have Matthew 5:19, whosoever break one of these least commandments and shall teach men to do so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. And whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called greater in the kingdom of heaven. So now you don't want to be least in the kingdom of heaven. What is least in the kingdom of heaven? Isaiah 66:23, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from my one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, said Jehovah. Isaiah 66:24, and they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that had transgressed against me. For the worm shall not die, neither shall the fire be quenched, being abhorring unto all flesh. So the conclusion of this is this: you need to keep his commandments, all of them. If you're not doing it, you're sinning. John 3:4. 1 John 3:4 says, whoever committed sin transgress also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. What law? The 10 Commandments. You need to keep the Sabbath, Saturday dawn to Sunday dawn. You know, early believers kept the Saturday as the Sabbath until like 325, when Constantine passed a law requiring believers to worship on Sunday, the day of the pagan sun, the day of worshiping of the sun god. So believers still kept the Saturday as the Sabbath until another law came by years later, and this law was signed into decree by Constantine, forbidding believers to worship on the Sabbath, which is Saturday, as I said before. And it was punishable by death by the Catholic Church. You know, many believers were burned to death by the Catholic Church because they were keeping the Sabbath on the right day. So you need to keep the commandments. And if you keep on going to church on Sundays, you are breaking the commandments. And one of the most important commandments for him is the Sabbath, because that's the sign between him and us. And if you're not keeping that commandment, which is the Sabbath, which is the seventh day, and you're keeping the Sunday, the first day, sun god day, so whose sign are you keeping? So please keep the 10 Commandments, eat clean, which is one of the covenants of promise in Ephesians 2:12. And then once you do those things, keep the 10 Commandments, and then once you do those things, go and tell others to do the same. That's fulfilling the royal law. That's loving your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:15-18 is rebuking the sin in your brother so they don't suffer the consequences of sin, and your hands won't be full of blood. So please keep the Sabbath holy. Today is not the Sabbath. If you love me, keep my commandments, okay?